Well, the conversation about inclusivity and equality is an ongoing one in the LGBTQS plus community. While there have been major efforts made to take down barriers, dispel stereotypes, they still exist. Inclusion is not full inclusion when the community still feels like it's on the sidelines. I want to bring in now Patrick Massey. Patrick is a Canadian musician. Argentina Haley was also supposed to join us. Argentina is a member of this Two-Spirit community. She was also the host of the Indigi Holiday, a Two-Spirit and Friends Christmas show. Unfortunately, Argentina has had a family emergency, and of course, we send her our support and our love, and hopefully she'll be able to join us on another day. But we do send her our best wishes. But Patrick, it's good to have you. Thank you so much for this.
Great to see you too, Angie. How are you?
I'm good. You and I have had a lot of conversations, and the question that I'm going to put to you right now is, do you feel included? Do you feel equally included? And that sort of stems from a lot of conversations we've had.
I do in a lot of aspects, and we've obviously made a lot of leaps and bounds over the years, but there's still a long way to go. And, when it's things like happened, last week in Kelowna, where a protester attacked somebody at through Rebellious Unicorns putting on these Real Housewives. I can't remember the exact name, but it's a drag show. It's an all ages show. Moments before their children went inside, somebody hit them outside of a venue in Kelowna, BC. So this is in our own backyard, my own province. So as much as we move forward, we have a long way to go. And this rhetoric and this hate that's out there, it's so real when you're a part of that community. And, after Pulse, my management said, we can't put you in clubs any longer. And I thought, what? And then less than 2 weeks later, I was doing a Pride Festival actually in Edmonton, and somebody attacked me. They started throwing stuff from the audience, and I was shocked. I couldn't believe it was happening, and I was trying not to raise an alarm, look for security, but it was very concerning, and I just broke down after I got off the stage. Like it's a reality.
Well, talk to me a little bit more how you were feeling, because you have really put your voice out there in every which way that you possibly can to break down those barriers, to be a voice for other members within the community, other cultural groups. As you've always said, we've got to be their voice when they can't have, when that voice isn't heard loud enough. But this then happening directly to you, what was going through your mind at the time?
Well, first off, I was shocked because my manager, I thought, no, there's no way. You don't often think when you're a musician, you think people are coming to see you. They're not going to be there to attack you. So it was very surreal. But then when I got off the stage, like I said, I broke down. I called my manager in tears because it was the reality set in. You realize how vulnerable you are. But I do like to speak to what you said, Angie. I think that people that are not from communities like the First Nations community, I had cousins and my aunt was from the Squamish Nation. So that was very prominent in my life. So I think that non-Indigenous people or BIPOC community people need to stand up and speak out, for those communities, especially our First Nations community. I mean, I can't imagine what they're feeling right now with the stuff going on in Winnipeg. And, I remember when I was 14 years old when my aunt died. And it was the first time I think I really understood what grief and pain was when I heard my cousin who was 15 screaming for her mother. And it was, on the Squamish Nation. So that was a very poignant moment in my life. But I think that we have to start taking some of the burden on for these communities because they can't do it all themselves, right? Like they need help. And non-Indigenous or non-people, we need to start standing up for communities and understanding how we can help them. But we need to ask them how we can.
And I think,
because allyship is the new word.
That conversation, that partnership, if you will, is perhaps part of that path forward when we say that, what do we need to do? Where do we need to go from here? Talk to me a little bit more if you can. We're almost out of time here, but that union now, creating that union. So, I think the younger generation is certainly seeing it, but we need to do it now.
Well, I think we need to talk about these things, and we need to listen to the elders, but the youth, the upcoming people too. I think we have to be connected on both ends, and we can't blame young people if we don't educate them about the atrocities of the past. I often see the stuff with the rhetoric that's and the hate against the Jewish community. There's all kinds of things going on, but I do, and I brought this up to you before. I do feel that gay men are being kind of left out in a lot of aspects. There's not a lot of discussion about the atrocities against us, but I think that we have to sit at the table together and
Yeah.
stay at that table. If we walk away from that table, we'll never get back to that table. And that's when I was on the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, Anti-Racism Committee at the Songwriters Association of Canada. I said that we have to stay here and talk about these difficult things.
Right.
But if you think they're hard for you to hear, how do you think the people feel that live them every day? It's a reality, like the realities of racism and discrimination, right? First, when you're not a marginalized person, you don't really understand it, in my opinion. You don't understand how difficult it can be, but we're going to move forward, and we're going to, working together is the only way that we're going to solve this. Like, love will only conquer hate and fear and all that stuff, right? So it's the way forward. So
Patrick, I really appreciate, as always, you giving us your time. And I'm so sorry this happened to you. Thankfully, you are okay, and we send you our love and our best wishes. Patrick Massey is a Canadian musician joining us on our Realities of Racism segment here. We'll speak again soon, Patrick.